Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Thank you very much for joining me. As you can see, our patient is a motherboard. The board came in fully assembled, but we have a replacement socket sent by the customer and the return label. Unfortunately, the socket has no outline, but usually we get to deal with that problem as long as the socket wants to listen to us. The damage is not very extensive, but enough for the board not to work. It looks like a couple pins are missing and few are mangled. So let's prep it, place it on the preheater and get the board ready for the procedure. I've used this foil for two other boards, so it's kinda neat that you can reuse these. It's a pretty thick board and I put additional layers of aluminum foil with adhesive on it. Now we're gonna long preheat for 45 minutes, and over here, check this out. What I changed is I start with 100 degrees at the bottom, then I go to 120, 140, 180, all the way to 210. Before I would just set it to roughly maybe 160, keep it for like 15 minutes and then go to 210, which is our target bottom temperature. That is the temperature of the bottom of the board, not the bottom heater. But the bed temperature that you see in Rework Pro over here, that represents basically the temperature of the heater, because the thermocouple is physically sitting on the heater. For that reason, you can see that our red line is climbing slowly. My belief is that this will reduce the overall flexing to the board and improve the process, or at least my hope is that it will improve the results. However, this board is gonna be very difficult. You'll see in a second why. Preheating is done, so I'm gonna load the profile that I always use, which says LGA 1151. But it works perfectly fine on AM5 sockets. As you can see, maximum temperature is 195, which is typically the maximum temperature that I want to use on any board. Now the reason for that is that if we go, technically the highest temperature you can use is 235, maybe 230. But that is the temperature at which the board is going to start bubbling. There's going to be a physical damage to the board. So you want to stay away from that temperature as much as you can. But as you can see, 195, it's not letting loose. It's not even close to letting loose. So I set it to 195 again and just keep it running. Then I increased to 200. As you can see, now we're at 200 and still nothing from the socket. It's not even slightly moving. Now you need to be very careful when you do this the way I do it, like kind of using the tweezers as to lever the socket from underneath. It's very easy to rip the pad if you don't do it properly, so I advise not using it and rather tap on the socket and perhaps use more flux. As you can see right now, I'm not using flux, but now I broke and I figured, yeah, let's put some flux on it, especially in the corner that wouldn't let loose. Now that will always improve, that will always help a little bit to melt the solder, but it produces fumes and stuff, so that's why I prefer not to do it if I don't have to. And finally I see a proper movement, but you see, if you just lifted it right now, you're risking, because you don't know if that other corner is not holding, and as you can see, that other corner is holding a bit too high. So if I flipped it before using just that left bottom corner, I would probably rip one of the pods. So it just comes with practice. It's not very safe, I agree, but once you've done it multiple times, it should be fine. I haven't ripped any pods in a long time. And finally, the socket is free. So from here, the rest of the process is pretty simple. I mean, other than aligning the socket, obviously, when you have no outline. But remember not to touch the board with the soldering iron. I just put a little blob of solder and I just move that solder around. If it's not following the iron, just put more flux in. Don't rub the paper towel across the socket. I just gently press it and remove it. I don't move across the socket, otherwise the specs will be left behind. And the temperature I chose as a maximum, as you can see, over 200 degrees. That was not needed, but at this point, since I went to 220, I figured I want to try with 220, but at this point the board is already slightly damaged. And the socket dropping here, it's kind of hard to notice because it was very slight, but if you just scroll your timeline across this region over here, you'll notice that the socket dropped around here. It dropped very slowly, actually. I'm not used to this, dropping this slowly. The original socket was loads. This one doesn't say what it is, but it doesn't look like it's reinforced, so it's relatively light. So it drops very slowly and very gently. So I never went all the way to the end of the profile. I stopped the profile as soon as I saw that the socket, well, not as soon as I saw, but shortly after I saw that the socket was already in place. So we're at 194, or no, 184, 186, yeah. And the socket is fully sitting now. So it dropped very quickly, it dropped at very low temperatures, but the board, as you can see now, the board is returning to its original position, but it did not. It did not completely return to its original position, because if you have to go above 195, the probability of success is very low. And this is roughly how you do it. Thank you guys very much for watching. I do appreciate you, and I shall see you in the next one.